Have you ever heard of a spiritual movement so powerful it emptied pubs, filled churches, and transformed an entire nation in just a few short months? This isn't a fantasy tale. It's the true story of the Welsh revival of 1904 to 1905, a phenomenon that swept from the soot-covered coal mines to the grandest cathedrals of Wales. Let's travel back to the turn of the 20th century. Wales was the engine of the British Empire, a land of industry, coal, and steel. Life for many was tough, spent in the dark, dangerous depths of the mines. Society was grappling with social problems, and a sense of spiritual weariness had settled over the land. But beneath the surface, something was stirring. A deep hunger for change, for something more, was growing in the hearts of the Welsh people. It all began in the small town of Lawr. A young man named Evan Roberts, a former coal miner and blacksmith, felt a profound calling. He was not a trained preacher or a seasoned theologian. He was just a humble 26-year-old who had spent years praying for a spiritual awakening in his homeland. In October 1904, he returned to his home church and began sharing a simple yet powerful message. It wasn't a complex sermon, but a heartfelt plea centered on 4 key points. Confess all known sin, put away any doubtful habits, obey the Spirit promptly, and confess Christ publicly. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The first meetings were small, but the atmosphere was electric. People were deeply moved. They would spontaneously break into prayer, confess their faults openly, and sing hymns with a passion that seemed to shake the very foundations of the chapels. News of these extraordinary events spread like wildfire. Newspapers, initially skeptical, began sending reporters to witness what was happening, and their dispatches fanned the flames across the nation and the world. What made the Welsh revival so unique was its spontaneity. There was no central organization, no famous evangelist leading a grand campaign. Meetings were often led by ordinary people, even women and children, who felt moved by the Spirit. A meeting might start with a simple prayer, which would then lead to hours of singing, testimony, and heartfelt repentance. The hymns of Wales, known for their emotional depth and theological richness, became the anthem of the revival. Songs like Here's Love, Vast as the Ocean were sung with newfound fervor in chapels, on street corners, and even deep within the coal mines. The impact on Welsh society was staggering. The crime rate plummeted. In some areas, magistrates arrived at court to find they had no cases to try. Debts were repaid, long-standing feuds were reconciled, and families were mended. The pubs saw a dramatic drop in business, with many publicans reportedly going bankrupt. The miners, known for their rough language, were so transformed that the pit ponies, accustomed to a stream of curses, no longer understood their commands and had to be retrained. The revival's influence wasn't confined to the chapels. It spilled into every aspect of life. Football matches and theaters were deserted as people flocked to prayer meetings that often lasted through the night. The national sport of rugby saw a significant decline in attendance. Players themselves were caught up in the movement, with some even giving up their sporting careers to become missionaries. The revival emphasized a life of holiness and separation from worldly pleasures, which, for a time, included popular entertainment. This was a youth-led movement. Young people, like Evan Roberts himself, were at the forefront. They carried the message with an infectious zeal, organizing their own meetings and inspiring their peers. Their passion and sincerity were a driving force, demonstrating that age was no barrier to being part of this incredible spiritual wave. Within a few months, it was estimated that over 100,000 people had made a commitment to faith. The revival's influence spread far beyond the borders of Wales. Visitors from across the globe came to witness the events and carried the spark back to their own countries, igniting similar revivals in India, Korea, China, and North America. The Azusa Street Revival in Los Angeles, which gave birth to the modern Pentecostal movement, was heavily influenced by reports from Wales. However, like any intense fire, the revival's most visible flames began to die down after about a year. Evan Roberts, exhausted physically and emotionally by the immense pressure, withdrew from public life. Some of the initial enthusiasm waned, and life began to return to a semblance of normality. Critics pointed to this as evidence of failure, arguing that the emotionalism couldn't last. But to judge the revival by its peak intensity is to miss its lasting legacy. It permanently reshaped the spiritual landscape of Wales and the world. Thousands of lives were genuinely and permanently changed. It produced a new generation of church leaders, missionaries, and social reformers who would go on to have a profound impact for decades to come. The revival instilled a deep spiritual heritage in Wales, a memory of a time when the nation was touched by something extraordinary. Looking back, the Welsh revival serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly and dramatically a society can be transformed from the ground up. It wasn't a top-down movement orchestrated by powerful figures. It was a grassroots awakening that began in the heart of a young man and spread through the earnest prayers and passionate songs of ordinary people. It showed that real change often starts not in the halls of power, but in the humble spaces where people gather with open hearts. The story of the Welsh revival is more than just a historical event. It's a testament to the power of faith, community, and the profound human longing for meaning and renewal. It's a story of how, in a land of dark minds, a brilliant light shone forth, illuminating not just the valleys of Wales, but corners of the entire world. It reminds us that even in times of weariness, the potential for incredible transformation is always present, waiting for the right spark to ignite. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into history's most impactful moments, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.